Hello, this is Dwayne from Dwayne's Astrophotography. I've got a little tidbit video here for you. I've got a new setup. I want to show it to you. Here it is. Okay, I've got the 2600 camera now, and I have inserted a 54 male to female spacer. If you can see that, let's get over on the other side here. Maybe it'll show up a little better, the lighting. That's a little better. So it's essentially the spacer there between the filter wheel right here and the supplied spacer that came with the Pleiades telescope, the 68 William Optics Pleiades telescope. And let me turn a light on here. Get a little light on the subject here. All right, there, that's better. And actually what I'm trying to show here is the spacer in between that. That is a 54 male to female spacer. There, it's really in good focus there. You can actually see the ribs that are on it for tightening it with your hand. It's a pretty nice group. It's made by Blue, I've forgotten the name now, Blue something. Yeah, look that up online. Blue something, Blue, it skips, it slips my mind now. But there's the spacer, and it is I believe I ended up with a 3 or 4 millimeter spacer right there, because the rest of the spacers actually up to the first line. Try to get it in focus here. The first line after the telescope, that is where the lens is about. Actually, the lens is a little bit further in. If I could point this out. See if I can point it out here. The best I can explain this is the lens. The final lens of the telescope. Let's get it in focus here again. There we go. The final lens of the telescope is about right halfway between here and here. So it's about right in the center, like right there. Right there is where the lens is. It's not all the way up here, and it's not all the way out here to this line. Now, from there forward is actually part of the telescope. From what I'm pointing to forward is a part of the telescope. But what I'm saying is the lens is closer to this than to this. So I chose for my measurements exactly halfway between these 2 points. And that's how I calculated and finally tweaked in this spacer. Now the cool thing is I used a ring on this device. It's a 54. It's a ring that's, you can't even see it. The ring is actually contained inside of the spacer. So it is a ring, a very short ring that fits between. Sorry, I can't get this in focus very well. Just let me let it get in focus. Okay, it's a ring that sets in between. It actually sets inside of this spacer right here. If I could get that to be focused for us, I would be overjoyed here. There. That spacer that I'm pointing to right there, the ring is actually inside of the spacer right there. And it is a ring that converts 48 to 54. And that enabled me to use the bigger spacer, which then doesn't block any light from going into the very wide 54 right here, the wide 54 threads of this device right here, okay? So it has 54 thread device, so I didn't want to go down to a 48 and squeeze the light off. So this is going to work really well. I've got it exactly from this point, which is the lens again inside, to the face of the camera right here. The face of the camera is exactly 1.57 inches, and that correlates to the calculations. This is a 17.5 from here to here. Sorry, to here. In other words, from here to here is 17.5 millimeters from the sensor in the camera to the surface of the camera. So I subtracted that from the 57-ish value that one needs for this telescope. They say 55, but Trevor Jones and others have commented that it's more like 57 to 57.5. So that's what I used. We'll see what happens. The proof is in the pudding when you finally do your edge comparison of stars. So this is my setup. With that, I just wanted to detail it. Got the 72 Evo Star doublet telescope. That was my first telescope right there. And I'm now using it as a guide scope. And with a 178, ASI 178 camera right here. And it's going to be used without any ST4. So the ST4 jack is open. Here, if you could see it, I don't have it hooked to anything. So there's the ST4 jack, and it's connected just directly with the cable into the ASI Air Plus system right here. And then I've got my EQ6R Pro mount being driven directly from the hand control adapting, if you will, cable that goes right into the hand control. And then a couple of weights here, because this is turned out to be a pretty heavy payload, but still way below the 40-pound maximum. I believe this is around 22 or 3 pounds with both telescopes. So I have guiding and I have the Pleiades scope together. The guide scope is slightly more resolved than this, which you want for good guiding. So wish me luck. And when I do this, the first thing I'll have to do is remove all of these wires from the weights, right? So those will not be there. This is for my battery and heaters, which goes down here at the bottom. I've got everything tidied up here. One thing I've been trying to do is reduce overhanging inertia moments by tying these cables, tying them up to the device. See how I did that? I'm not letting this cable just swing downward, because it applies a force that is variable as the telescope moves, and it can cause it to glitch and grab and really mess your guiding up. All it takes is one of those to mess the stars up in a long exposure. So then I also have this tied here, which I believe is about the best one could do, is right at the center of the deck axis. I've got it tied right there so that there's no overhang here at all. Everything moves together. See how this all moves together? And the only overhang is right here, which I have added a lot of play here. And this may be able to, I might have to adjust this. It might be a little too much length. And so we'll see. We want to make sure that as this turns, it doesn't grab and vibrate like this. So I think that's going to be good. And then of course I've done the same thing up here, tied everything off very neatly, as close to the camera and assembly as I can by the deck axis there. And the same way down here, we've got all of these coming over from the filter wheel with the printer cable, as we call it. Short version. Try to make everything as short as possible. Use these where advantageous to keep it from falling out away from the telescope. And then I've got a little rope here, as you can see, that ties everything up close. Again, the idea is to keep everything close to the center of the motion so that these won't rattle and catch and cause different forces as it's slowly tracking. All right, this has been Dwayne's Astrophotography, another episode. Hey, it's a challenge. We'll see if it works. I'll let you know. Clear skies.